everyone. It's your girl, Robin.
And Saeed.
And we are here as part of Uventure Travel to talk to you about what you should pack for your Carnival Cruise. These are must-have essentials that you will regret if you forget. So we're excited. This summer, we're going on a family cruise to celebrate all of our graduates this year. And so as we help get our family ready for the cruise, we want to make sure that our YouTube family is gets to all the information as well. So check it out. Stay to the end so you can get all the must-have essentials that you need to have. So kick us off.
And as always, like, subscribe, comment.
Absolutely.
So like we said, we've had videos already, and early plug, we have a video about what not to pack. So check that out. And then also checking in as well. So maybe this is your first time on Carnival, also check that video out as well. But today, talking about the must-haves that you should pack. The stuff that's essential to help lessen your stress and really just create an enjoyable cruise experience the next time that you go. So number one, documentation.
This is how you make sure that you get to go on your cruise.
Because the last thing that you'll hear this in our other videos, we don't want you crying at the port.
We want you to enjoy your vacation and get to go.
Right.
You paid for it.
You paid good money.
Yeah. Saved your money and went.
You've used PTO. I mean, whatever. You've done a lot to prepare for this event. So, number one thing is make sure your travel documents, when you have them, you'll be surprised about folks who got to the port and they shuffle around and they realize that those documents are sitting right where they left them at home. So make sure that your documents are on you.
Double, triple, quadruple check before you
get on that
leave.
In the car, before you get on that plane or whatever. And make sure that you're in your carry-on. So when we're talking about travel documents, passport preferred. So if you have a passport, you're always good to go.
Valid passport.
And the passport in particular, and you'll hear us speak about this in another video, ideally for most cruise lines, and Carnival included, your passport has to be valid at least 6 months past when the cruise ends. 6 months after the cruise ends is when your expiration is the minimum that they say your expiration date should be on your passport. Now, if you don't have a passport or whatever the case may be, make sure you have an original birth certificate. Remember what I just said, original birth certificate, raised seal and all of that.
Not the original from the hospital.
No, the actual
where
stamp
you have
one.
The little cute ceremonial one with your footprints
and
feet. No. The government issued birth certificate with the little raised seal. Right. That's the birth certificate
that was issued by the entity, so the county or whoever.
Right.
And a government ID. Most people, the government ID that they would use would be a driver's license. Depending on your age, you may be able to use like a school ID or something of that nature.
If you're 16 to 18.
But passport or birth certificate and ID. Boarding pass, luggage tags. Again, they got to know that you're supposed to be on this ship, so make sure you have that. If you have travel insurance, print a copy of that, or at least maybe have that at least digitally available on your phone. And then your reservation and excursion info. These are all things that are going to be critical to making sure that when you can get on the boat and that you have an enjoyable time once there. And if something happens, this also will help facilitate you being able to get to either the next place, or let's say you even have to come back to the U.S. from another country. These documents will make it easier for you to handle things on the fly if an emergency comes up.
So once you have your documents in your carry-on and you're on the ship, here are other things that we recommend that you have in your carry-on bag for embarkation day. You want to have any kind of medications that you need to keep that nearby. And then also for those of you that are ready to start your vacation immediately, go ahead and have a change of clothes, have a swimsuit, flip-flops so you can start enjoying the Lido deck as soon as you get on.
Right.
Bring that sunscreen so that you can protect yourself from the sun. Also, make sure that if you're ready, if you also can bring a 750 milliliter bottle of wine per adult, but it has to be on your carry-on. Also, if there's any other drink that you are bringing, and the only thing that you are allowed to bring is 12 pack
of 12
of
ounce
12 ounce cans of non-alcoholic drink. That has to be in your carry-on as well for embarkation day. Also, you want to make sure that your phone does not die, so you can get all those selfies, all those videos for you to remember those memories. So make sure you have your phone charger or even one of those portable chargers so that you can recharge your phone as you are the first day before you get your check-in. Also, it's good to have a reusable water bottle. You cannot bring a water bottle, like a bottle of water on the ship. You can bring a can of water, but they have water filling stations around. You can go to the bar and ask. If you have that reusable water bottle, you want to make sure you stay hydrated. That's important. Right. Let's pause for a moment to talk about hydration. Now, some of you, many of you are going to go on the cruise during the summer months when it's hot, and most time in the Caribbean, it's always hot. You want to stay hydrated so you don't pass out that first day. Also, you want to stay hydrated because many of you may be consuming a lot of adult beverages on your cruise. No judgment here, but you gotta stay hydrated, or you're going to be out on your first day. Don't be that person that's passed out on the first day. Okay, right. So stay hydrated. Make sure you have a lot of water there available for you.
Right. So the last thing you want to be is the person that years from now, hey,
you remember that time you was passed out on the first day of the cruise, and we didn't see you. We didn't see you again to 2 days in the vacation. Don't be that person.
They will talk bad about you. Now, you've gotten your documentation, you've gotten your bag. Next thing you want to do is, what are the essentials that you'll need, particularly in your room, to kind of make your room comfortable, because that's going to be your home for however long you're going to be on that boat. So when we talk about cruise and cabin essentials, cabin organization essentials, we're talking about magnetic hooks. Pro tip here, because most people don't realize, or just don't know, most cabin walls and cruise ships are metal. So those hooks can create additional storage space out of the blue by just picking them up on the wall, and you can hang multiple things there: bags, towels, anything that will help absorb a little bit more space or create more space for you. Those hooks will do so.
Can I say one thing about that? Most cruise ships are metal. We particularly are going on the Carnival Paradise this summer, and from all the videos we've seen, the hooks don't work well on the Carnival Paradise wall, so that's a downer. But for most Carnival cruises, the hooks will work good for you.
Shoe organizers, and some people, when you talk about over the door shoe organizers, where you pack it and then you unfold it. Most people either will use it for shoes, or they may even use it just for regular storage for other, essentials, whether it's cotton swabs or, face cloths or toiletries, anything like that. So a shoe organizer can really help keep your stuff, in one spot.
Especially if it's like a family and it's multiple you in the room, and you just need to be creative with your solutions for storage.
Non-surge power strip, again, in our video of what not to pack, and you'll generally hear this in most cases, regular surge protectors are not allowed on cruise ships. So if you need to have a surge protector, a power strip, because you need additional outlets, you have to make sure that it is non-surge protected. Extension cord, something like that, but non-surge protected. Last two things: nightlight, particularly if you're in an interior cabin. So that's for our interior cabin folks. There's no window, so once you close that door and turn the lights off, it's pitch black in there. So if you want a little bit of additional light, a night light can be a game changer there for you. And a laundry hamper, excuse me. Again, depending particularly on the length of your cruise, the clothes could pile up a little bit. And so a little pop-up travel laundry hamper can be a good place to kind of store all that in one place until, obviously you're ready to pack when it's time to go home. But that could be something where you can kind of get your dirty clothes separated, keep those off to the side.
One little pro tip about the nightlight that I want to say, even if you're not in the inside cabin, the last cruise we went on, we were in a balcony room, but you're in the middle of the ocean. There's no street lights. There's nothing. So in the middle of the night, you get up to use the bathroom. It gets completely dark. And I thought I was being smart last time, and I brought a night light that you plug in to go to use in the bathroom, so that I didn't have to turn on the big light. But there were no plugs in the bathroom. So I would say, see if you can find a battery operated night light. That way, if there's no plugs in the bathroom, or you have more freedom of where you can put it. So if there's like a battery operated night light, and especially it's better too if it's a motion light. So it only turns on when there's motion, and that can help save the batteries. That's a little insider pro tip when it comes to that night light. Other things that you want to make sure you pack is toiletry essentials. So things for good hygiene: toothpaste, toothbrush, deodorant, shave gel, razors, all that personal care. Make sure that you bring personal size or travel size items. Most cruise ships will have shampoo and body wash, but we know that people have different textured hair, different skin types. So if you are sensitive, or that your hair needs a different type of care, we do recommend you bring your own, but try to bring a travel size, or get the travel size things and just pour it in there. Any kind of feminine products that you might need. And then also you want to have hand sanitizer and sanitizing wipes. Double check that you have all the toiletries. A lot of times, you forget a toothbrush and those things. But if you have to buy them on the ship, you can sometimes pay 3 or 4 times
what you would pay off on land.
Right. So even if you fly in or drive in, before you get on the ship, check, because it's always cheaper to go to a store on land. And if it's something that you can hold on to your first port day, you might also find some of those items at the port, the city at the port, that might be a little cheaper, because when I tell you that stuff on the ship is typically so expensive.
Cruise inflation is real.
It's like 3 or 4 times what you would pay, and you're going to be mad at yourself. So make sure you have those things.
Keep it in the vein of hygiene and wellness. Putting together a little health and wellness kit, or even if you buy a little ready-made one. But however you do it, whether you create your own or buy one from a store. And when we talk about health and wellness kits, so we're talking about motion sickness. Maybe you either wear the wristband. Some people do that, or they'll have things that they can put behind their ear, or they even there may be a pill or something that they take to help with the motion sickness. But whatever that is, include that, because boats move and everybody reacts differently to that movement on the ocean. So make sure that you're prepared for that, so that you don't again get caught with an unfortunate situation due to motion sickness. Additionally, if you have allergy meds, if you pain relievers, stomach remedies, even if you have an upset stomach, all of those things. So
a lot of times you eat differently on a cruise, so sometimes your stomach
is not ready for all that.
It's not ready for all that, so bring all that just in case.
Right. First aid kit. So again, we talk about Band-Aids, antibiotic, stuff like that. There are little nicks and cuts that you get, or you might get bit by a bug because you're in, another country. So just having those little things available there, quick use. From quick kind of use medical attention, and then bug spray. So people don't necessarily think about all this, but again, particularly if you're in a tropical port or Caribbean port, generally you're going to be in environments where there's a lot of trees and a lot of things flying around that you're not used to, and so having bug spray or just some type of protection for your skin there is underrated, because the last thing you want to do is come back, or you get back to the cabin that night and you look at yourself and you've been a treat for those flying insects. And sometimes
it can have worse consequences, like mosquitoes and things do carry disease.
Right.
So there's something that's not just about being uncomfortable. Sometimes it can
be more.
It can be more. So you want to be careful about that. Next, think about food and drink accessories. So you can bring a reusable cup or a tumbler with a straw. That's just good for you to have drink for you to take on and off the ship. And it's a more environmentally friendly way. And then also, water can be hard to come by on the ship or expensive to come by. Like, you can't bring your own water unless it's in a can or carton. You can pre-order water to be delivered to your room, but it's usually very expensive. So bring a reusable cup so you can go to the water filling stations and get that. Also, you can bring small snacks that you can have in your room, just in case you don't want to go out to the buffet or get room service, something like that. The thing is, it cannot be like homemade food. It has to be packaged, unopened foods. It could be things like granola bars, gum, mints, just things that you can quickly eat, to carry you over. Also, if you're taking advantage and bringing the wine, you may want to bring a small bottle opener so that way you don't have to go and pay a corkage fee for somebody to open it for you.
Now, some additional items as well that just, again, these are convenience things, stuff that just make, the trip just a little easier again as well. Cruise lanyards. So for Carnival particularly, they have a sail and sign card. Sail and sign card that basically is your ID, your identification. And so if you don't have to have that like in your pocket or just in your hand all the time, you will see folks that will get like a little lanyard where they can clip it to the bottom of their lanyard and just kind of hang it around their neck to just free up, having to keep track of it in another way. Additionally, if you are on a cruise where there's going to be a particular theme night, so not necessarily, an elegant night is, for example, is one that's common on Carnival, which folks will dress up. But maybe there's a theme night or a theme event. Maybe they're going to do an 80s party or some type of...
Or I know sometimes they do like a white silent party.
Right. Or if maybe you're on a sailing during a holiday where it's like Halloween or Christmas, whatever the case may be, you can have those additional outfits or shirts to kind of support that special event.
And if you're going on a group cruise like we are, having like a group cruise t-shirt is always fun too. So that's something to consider on your cruise.
Waterproof pouch for your phone. Folks, if they want to take those, underwater photos or you're going to be out snorkeling or in the pool, whatever, you don't want your phone to get wet and damaged.
Or even just like being on a water-based excursion, like where something can splash on it.
Right.
It might not be something you plan to go underwater, but if you know something of water involved in an excursion, get that waterproof pouch.
And it'll protect your phone. And they zip it closed, keeps the water out, keeps the phone safe. Last couple things, a small bag or like a little day pack. So particularly when you're out in the port days, like I have a little like kind of sling bag that I take that, you can carry like your phone, if there may be any kind of really critical medicines or an umbrella, even depending on whatever it is, you can kind of have that on you. Ziploc bags work well, kind of similar to the waterproof phone pouch, but if you want to keep snacks or just other items kind of safe there. Or on the flip side, if there's something that gets wet or just maybe has a certain level of moisture that you want to keep separate from your other dry items, you can use a Ziploc as well. And then the last pro tip here is, particularly whether you're on the beach or even on a cruise and you're on a cruise ship and you're on one of those loungers, you can get towel clips to help keep the towel in place. The little clips so you hang the towel over the back, kind of like this chair that would clip to the back of the chair, and so the towel's not moving all over the place. So again, little pro tip there for those folks as well.
All right, so let's talk about some smart clothing choices. One thing is you want to make sure that you have like cruise casual outfits for dinner. Most of the time there is a dress code on Carnival cruises to eat in the main dining room. It's nothing, you don't have to be like very dressy, but you can't have like on a swimsuit top, or sometimes you have to wear actual pants. So just make sure you check the dress code for your Carnival cruise. So for ladies, like just a nice little summer flowy dress will be fine. For guys, it could be a polo shirt and some nice shorts. Just make sure that you can't wear the swimwear in the main dining room. Typically on a Carnival cruise, depending on the length, you might have 1 to 2 formal or elegant nights. On those nights, typically people try to elevate just a little bit more. Some people go all the way out and have like sequins and tuxes. If that's what you want to do, fine. You don't have to go that far. Most of the time it's just like, no jeans or no cutoff jeans. I think like long jeans. So just those nights can be a little dressy. A lot of times they have people taking pictures on those nights as well. You want to have comfortable walking shoes or sandals. You're going to do a lot of walking on the ship and off the ship. So you want to be cute, but you want to be comfy as well. Also, make sure you have several swimsuits and also cover-ups so that you can wear those as you are going around the cruise ship. And then a lot of times people don't think about this, but they're thinking, okay, I'm going to be in a hot place. but sometimes the evenings can get cool, especially the time of year that you travel and where you're going. And then sometimes just the air can be a lot on the ship. So make sure you might want to bring at least one light jacket or sweater just to throw on for those cool evenings. And one pro tip here, this is something that I forgot about on my last cruise. We think about having a bag to take off for the day, like a day bag for the excursion. But you probably need just a little bag to have on the ship when you're going around, like when you go to dinner or going to a show. Like I like to have like some hand sanitizer, maybe some gum, just like those little knickknacks, like a small purse. So I ended up having to buy a, which was one of my favorite finds on my last cruise. So go watch that about Virgin Voyages. But it was just like a little crossbody sling bag that was small enough for me to put my phone, me to put some hand sanitizer, some gum, just like those little small essentials. Or you might want to have like a fanny pack or something like that. That's something that we don't think about often, but it's just really good to pack.
So one quick thing before we close, bonus tip here is if you want to track your documents, receipts, things like that based on what you spent, you may want to have a little folder or little, file thing, accordion, whatever you want to use, but something where if you want to kind of stay organized and particularly kind of make sure that you're tracking your spending. Now, granted, the app generally will help with that as well, but if you just want to have the physical receipts somewhere in one location, much like we talked about at the top with your documents, having a folder or some type of envelope will help with that. So just pro tip there. But the main thing we want to find out, and so as you've gotten to the end of this video, and number one, thank you for that. Always appreciate you hanging with us. Tell us in the comments what's your non-negotiable as far as what you have to have with you on the trip. What's the one thing that you always pack that you may even have been told is something that most people don't? But what's your thing? What's the one thing when you go travel, whether it's a cruise or vacation in general? What's your one item that is, your blanket? If you know about Charlie Brown and Linus, what's your blanket? What's the thing that you got to have with you? Put it in the comments. We'd like to know what those critical items are that people have to have with them when they go on vacation. And then as always, like we always tell you, we appreciate you. We're here for you. We're here to share that information. So put in the comments, is there anything that we missed here? Again, like I said, what are your go-to items that help make your trip just a little bit more enjoyable? Tell us in the comments about that. Make sure you're liking what we're putting out. Make sure you're subscribing so that you're alerted to whenever the new content hits, that you're the first ones to get that information. And check out our other videos, particularly that we said at the top, about what not to pack and what to do before your cruise, particularly when we talk about like online check-in, things like that. Check those out so that you can be fully prepped to have the vacation that you've been waiting for. Because again, you've spent good money, you're spending time. Make sure that you're putting yourself in the position to have the best vacation possible. Anything else?
Happy cruising. Thanks for joining.
Peace.